Respected Chairman, esteemed Excellencies, at the beginning of my address, I take the opportunity to greet the Chairman of the United Nations Security Council, the esteemed ambassadors of the United Nations Security Council member states, and other ambassadors, as well as Mr. Christian Schmidt, High Representative of the international community in Bosnia and Herzegovina. From the report of the High Representative, it can be observed that the political and security situation in Bosnia and Herzegovina is complex and challenging. This document additionally confirms the importance of continuous attention by international community with the aim of protecting peace, stability, and the general framework agreement for peace in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Ladies and gentlemen, despite numerous challenges, Bosnia and Herzegovina has achieved significant progress on the European and Euro-Atlantic path. The European Council on 15 December 2022 decided to grant Bosnia and Herzegovina candidate status for membership in the European Union. The European Council on 21 March 2024 adopted a decision to open accession negotiations with Bosnia and Herzegovina. We have adopted and submitted 6 reform programs of Bosnia and Herzegovina to the NATO headquarters in Brussels, and preparations are underway for the adoption of this document for 2026. Bosnia and Herzegovina has fulfilled the conditions to receive an invitation for membership in NATO. Our results would have been even better if there had not been constant obstructions and blockades from the entity Republika Srpska. With the aim of an objective understanding of the current situation in Bosnia and Herzegovina, it is necessary to point to the facts that preceded the present state. I particularly emphasize the following. The Republic of Bosnia and Herzegovina, a UN member state, was a victim of brutal aggression from 1992 to 1995. Joint criminal enterprises were carried out against the Republic of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Genocide was committed against Bosniaks, the only genocide in Europe after the Second World War. Great state protagonists are attempting, even in the post-Dayton period, to realize the objectives that were not achieved during the armed aggression. Ignoring these facts, also confirmed by the judgments of UN courts, does not help anyone. On the contrary, their neglect can lead to an incorrect diagnosis of the situation and thereafter also to possible new wrong steps. This must not be allowed. Ladies and gentlemen, a very difficult year, 2025, is behind us. The Anti-Dayton policy of the leadership of the entity Republika Srpska brought Bosnia and Herzegovina to the brink of armed conflict. The worst scenario was avoided thanks to institutional and responsible action in the legal and foreign policy domains. Also, we have learned one important lesson. Any endangerment of the position and competencies of the Constitutional Court of Bosnia and Herzegovina, state judicial institutions, and the High Representative could have unforeseeable consequences for peace and stability of Bosnia and Herzegovina and this part of Europe. I particularly wish to warn of the danger of undermining the role of the High Representative. The High Representative exists on the basis of Annex 10 of the Dayton Peace Agreement, and he is the final interpreter of the civilian aspect of the agreement. The signatories and witnesses of the Dayton Peace Agreement knew already at the end of 1995 that this is an important institution for the protection of this international agreement. They knew that the overall agreement could not function without Annex 10. The Dayton Peace Agreement is not a menu from which you choose what you want and what you do not want. It is an international agreement that must be respected in its entirety. The forthcoming appointment of a new High Representative should be carried out in a manner that, as has been the case until now, the Peace Implementation Council appoints the new High Representative. The competences and mandate of the High Representative are not jeopardized. The closure of the office of the High Representative can be discussed only after the 5+2 program has been fulfilled. To conclude, the problem of Bosnia and Herzegovina is not High Representative, but rather the anti-Dayton policy that openly advocates the destruction of the Dayton Peace Agreement and Bosnia and Herzegovina. Ladies and gentlemen, let us be completely clear and bold. It is the leadership of the Republika Srpska entity and not the High Representative that is destroying the Dayton Peace Agreement. It is time to stop those destroying the agreement and not weaken the institutions protecting it. Neighboring countries, the Republic of Serbia and the Republic of Croatia, do not have the right to interfere in the internal matters of the country of Bosnia and Herzegovina. They are not guarantors, but signatories of the Dayton Peace Agreement. Therefore, Serbia and Croatia have assumed an additional international obligation to respect the independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity of Bosnia and Herzegovina, as well as the judgments of UN courts. It is exceptionally important that all members of steering board of the Peace Implementation Council, on the occasion of the marking the 30th anniversary of the Dayton Peace Agreement, emphasize the importance of respecting the sovereignty, territorial integrity, and constitutional order of Bosnia and Herzegovina. On that occasion, the members of the steering board particularly emphasized that Bosnia and Herzegovina was not created in 1995, but continued its legal existence. Sovereignty exclusively belongs to Bosnia and Herzegovina as a single country. The entities exist on the basis of the Constitution of Bosnia and Herzegovina and do not have their own sovereignty. The leadership of the entity Republika Srpska continues to endanger the Dayton Peace Agreement. They publicly advocate for unilateral dismantling of the Dayton Peace Agreement, destruction of the country of Bosnia and Herzegovina, and other violations of international and national law. Ladies and gentlemen, it is scandalous that the leadership of the Republika Srpska entity concluded a contract with a lobbying firm with the aim of dismantling the Dayton Peace Agreement. In this contract, the main objectives are stated as change of the foreign policy of the United States of America towards Bosnia and Herzegovina, redefining the status of the Republika Srpska entity, securing international support for secession, and contesting the fundamental parts of the Dayton Peace Agreement. Such anti-Dayton policy directly endangers peace and stability in the entire region. This dangerous policy is also demonstrated by the so-called report that was submitted illegally to the UN Security Council by the government of the entity Republika Srpska. I will be clear. This is the renewed activation of genocidal propaganda. Politicians who celebrate convicted war criminals are attempting once again to turn the victim into a target for a new genocide. This is unacceptable, disgraceful, and extremely dangerous. Destructive political forces are attempting to create dangerous ethnic divisions, including the creation of the so-called third entity. Such unreasonable policies caused enormous evil during the 1990s and must be cut off at the root, as they may again cause conflicts and suffering. Recently, a gathering was held in Zagreb at which maps of ethnic divisions in Bosnia and Herzegovina were once again drawn. Advocating ethnic divisions in Bosnia and Herzegovina is not a policy. It is a direct threat to peace. History teaches us that whenever maps of the partition of Bosnia and Herzegovina were drawn in Belgrade and Zagreb, the citizens and peoples of my country suffered. It is our common duty and responsibility never again to allow the drawing of borders along open wounds. The citizens and peoples of Bosnia and Herzegovina deserve peace, stability, and economic progress. One of the frequent political deceptions of anti-Dayton forces is the creation of fear of unitarism in Bosnia and Herzegovina. To speak about the danger of unitarism and centralism in a deeply decentralized Bosnia and Herzegovina is completely meaningless. Intimidation with alleged unitarism has the aim to shift attention away from the real problems of Bosnia and Herzegovina, deepen ethno-nationalist attempts of paralysis of state institutions, and sabotage Euro-Atlantic and European integration processes. Therefore, also here at the session of the United Nations Security Council, it should be clearly stated that this is a political narrative of great state protagonists. Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm not addressing you only as the chairman of the presidency of Bosnia and Herzegovina, but also as the voice of millions of people from Bosnia and Herzegovina who believe in the future. Our future is not based on divisions, but on knowledge, innovations, and the dignity of every person. My vision of Bosnia and Herzegovina is a stable, secure, educated, and digitally developed European country, a society of shared values, sustainable development, and strong institutions. What should be done in Bosnia and Herzegovina? First, according to the international and national law, as well as according to the final and binding judgments of the Constitutional Court of Bosnia and Herzegovina, state property is the property of the country of Bosnia and Herzegovina. There must be no political bargaining on this matter. Second, it is necessary to proceed with the implementation of the judgments of the European Court of Human Rights in Strasbourg. In that process, it is necessary to strengthen the democratic and multi-ethnic country of Bosnia and Herzegovina and eliminate every form of discrimination of citizens. Third, the Constitution of Bosnia and Herzegovina clearly defines the supremacy of the country of Bosnia and Herzegovina over the entities. In that context, the message of the members of the steering board of the Peace Implementation Council is also important, that the Constitution of Bosnia and Herzegovina must be fully respected and that it has precedence over entity constitutions and laws. Fourth, I consider that it is important that the UN Security Council in 2026 also adopts the decision on the extension of the mandate of EUFOR Althea. The presence of EUFOR is important for the preservation of peace and stability in Bosnia and Herzegovina, but also in the region. Fifth, for the stability and security of Bosnia and Herzegovina, it is important to dynamize the path of Bosnia and Herzegovina towards full membership in NATO and the European Union. Sixth, it is high time that the international community and the High Representative put a stop to anti-Dayton attempts to endanger the state institutions of Bosnia and Herzegovina. For example, it is important to prevent attempts from the entity Republika Srpska to shut down the public broadcasting service of Bosnia and Herzegovina as an independent broadcaster at the level of the state. Finally, on behalf of the citizens of Bosnia and Herzegovina, I sincerely thank the friends of our country. We have not forgotten the assistance we received from many UN member states. Bosnia and Herzegovina appreciates this and does not forget it. Let us preserve together peace and stability in Bosnia and Herzegovina and the region. Thank you for your attention.